Hi, this is Mrs. Rabel, and this video is on how to keyboard by touch. There are four main learning goals. We want to first uncover why learning the keyboard is where we start in our Intro to Word class. We want to talk about the benefits of learning to key by touch, the techniques, as well as finger placement. So first we want to explore why we start with keyboarding before we jump right into the document formatting. Two main reasons are the success and the safety. As we look at touch typing being the goal, we want to make sure that you can develop a appropriate speed and accuracy, which is going to give you professional looking documents. Before we jump into the document formatting and use some of the word processing tools. And then of course safety is a major issue as you develop and you learn how to use the computer keyboard with the appropriate technique. It's just going to help you over your lifetime to be safer as you're using this repetitive task. And so we're going to be walking through some of the strategies that science has proven to be less stressful and less injurious over a long period of time. Touch typing is defined as using the keyboard safely and efficiently while looking at the copy and not your fingers. So that's going to be our goal. Some of the benefits are that it is a 21st century professional skill. Every workplace is going to want you to be able to use a computer keyboard efficiently and create professional looking work. And then of course academically, some of you are already uncovering the difference between some other students who might be able to key really fast and maybe you're not, or maybe you're keying already quite quickly and doing really well. There's a huge difference. If you were writing a 3-page essay, for example, a student typing about 20 words per minute, which is the finger watcher student, is going to take about an hour or more to type that paper, assuming they already know what they're typing. And a student keying 40 or more words per minute is going to have about half that time. If you're handwriting things, we can handwrite messy about 15 to 20 words per minute. So keyboard's just going to make you more efficient at being able to key and to do work. So let's look at the techniques. I have a picture here, a graphic, that describes really 6 main strategies. The first thing I want you to think about is your feet placement. And I have 2 pictures here, one showing right and wrong. Your feet flat on the floor. You'll notice that in the second picture, the wrong way, the young man is kicked back with his feet. And what you're going to see is that it actually puts his body positioned in a weird place for his finger placement and is not very safe and very effective for him in being able to key well using his fingers to hit those keys. And then sitting up straight in the chair. So feet flat on the floor, sitting up straight in a chair. This is why I recommend that you set up your workspace at home so that you can be in a comfortable sitting position. So if you take a look at her, you might not be able to have an adjustable desk or adjustable chair, but hopefully you can set up something so that you are sitting on a desk and working on that or up to a table. That would be really helpful as you're working through these first few units in our Intro to Word Processing class. Your arms are at your side. I want you to see the difference between the girl in the picture and the boy. When her arms are at her side, the power is coming from her shoulders down to those fingers. He's having to simply use his fingers and his wrists, which is going to cause a lot of repetitive strain on those fingers, whereas she's using a more powerful part of her body to help control the keyboard, which is coming from her shoulders when she's got her arms at her side. You'll notice that her elbows are at 90 degrees and so are her knees. And then fingers on home row. I have another picture that'll kind of describe this a little bit better, but you are going to begin by placing your fingers on home row, and then you're going to, after you strike each key, return back to home row. Your wrists are parallel to the desk, not touching, and they're not hovering way above. And again, I have another picture to show that as well. And your eyes should be on your copy and not your fingers. You want to be strict with yourself about where your fingers are going to be touching and keying, because that's going to be the thing that's going to be, I think, the game changer. So here's another description of proper posture and technique. Your eyes are a little bit downward. Notice that her Her eyes are really at the top of her computer screen. That's exactly where you want to have them. You don't want to have it too low so that you're bending down, or too high that you're looking up. And you'll notice that she pulls her keyboard toward her, or she pulls her body towards the keyboard. And that's really important too, to be able to keep her the power from her shoulders, and again, not all in those fingers or wrists. And then her feet are flat on the floor. When you are looking at setting up that workspace again, you want to remember that your thumbs are going to be resting on your space bar. And I'll show you another graphic of that in just a moment. But again, he has an adjustable chair here so that he's able to do that. And here's a little bit closer view of that picture that I showed you earlier. And again, over a short period of time, they're probably going to have some of the same stresses, but over a long period of time, we're going to see the young man is going to have more potential danger to some of his limbs. And again, the primary thing here is that he's not going to be very successful, and he's not being very safe to his body when he's doing this task. So as we look at the keyboarding technique, I want you to take a look at the keyboard. So this is a QWERTY keyboard. The top line says QWERTY, which is QWERTY. And you're going to put your fingers on home row. So we have a picture here with the character that has colored fingernails that match up with the keys that those fingers will be striking. The thumb is going to, on both sides, going to stay on the space bar. That's going to be where you're going to want to keep that there at all times. The science behind the keyboard placement has really been done to use your most powerful fingers to strike the keys that they're going to be striking the most frequently. And that's the science behind it. And it is, there's some really tried and true methods for being able to do this, and we're going to walk through those in our EduTyping program. As you're looking specifically at your home row finger placement, we're looking here at ASDF, which are your left-hand fingers, which will strike those keys, and your thumb's going to fall naturally, again, on the space bar, and then JKL semicolon. And again, all of the reaches are going to happen one reach at a time. And you're going to use the other fingers after a reach to anchor to your home row. And so you're going to, for example, the first key that you're going to learn is you're going to take from the J to the H. And when you move this finger over, these other three fingers are going to anchor or hold on to that row. So you don't want to pick up your whole hand. What's really cool is your EduTyping program is going to be able to have transparent fingers on the screen. And if your fingers are placed correctly, you just look at the screen and it'll tell you which finger to move. You won't have to pick up your hands to do that. There's also a couple of other smaller pictures here on the side that describe the right way to curve your fingers. So you're seeing the right way here, slightly curved and over the keyboard. Not like this, which is your wrists are resting. And again, there's a lot of stress and strain in those fingers. And then this way is too high, so you're going to want to try to keep it parallel. And that's why it's important to get a desk that's the right height. And then finally, you want to look at how your fingers are placed on home row. So you'll notice that her arms, or his arms, are sort of straight there. And whereas if you're going to curve your hands or your fingers, again, depending on where your elbows are going to land, you're going to see a different placement there. So that's why you're going to want to be careful about your other body position points. And so as we are looking at keyboarding the by touch technique checklist, here are the 5 things I want you to think of: feet, seat, arms, wrists, fingers, and then lastly, when you get ready, you're going to be thinking about the eyes, which is the 6th thing. All right, I have this put into a 5-point checklist. So posture, sitting up straight in your chair. Your fingers are placed correctly and striking the correct keys on the keyboard. Your feet are flat on the floor for stability. They're not kicked back. They're not crossed. Your arms and your wrists your arms and your elbows are 90 degrees. Your wrists are not resting on the desk. And your eyes. When you're ready, you want to try to have your eyes only on the copy that you're typing. And mastery goal is always for these. But again, I want you to be really strict with yourself as you're practicing the reaches. It can feel really frustrating at first when it's not going to be as easy than the method that you've been using for 14 or 15 or 16 years. I get that. But just one quick story that I want to share with you is whenever you're setting an improvement goal for a skill, you want to be able to decide at the beginning that you either want to be successful or don't. And so I think of some of our best sports teams. They don't start the season hoping that they're going to end it with a lot of losses, right? They usually set a goal at the beginning, I want to be at a championship, and then they set their goals along the way. So that's what I'm asking you to do at this time. Set some goals. I use the example sometimes when I describe this as, let's imagine you've been playing baseball for 14 years. Let's just say that you have been a really good hitter on a baseball team, and you are you're trying out for the spring sport of baseball, and the coach says, listen, I really like some of your raw talent here, and you are going to be a good hitter, but I need you to change up your swing. So maybe the coach would walk you through how to stand differently, how to hold the bat differently, whatever those techniques might be. And my question to you is, are you going to hit it out of the ballpark right away? No. But does your coach know the science behind what's going to help you to be more successful, be more safe as you go a long way through that baseball career, which they hope you have? Absolutely. That's what they're looking for. And I think back to my days when I played high school basketball, and no, that is not a picture of me on the basketball team. But I remember when I was looking to improve my free throws, there was a science behind how I was supposed to, point my toes, how I was supposed to move my arms, move my shoulders, everything. And if you want to get better at anything, you're going to have to set a goal, and you're going to have to be strict with yourself, and you're not going to hit it out of the ballpark. You're not going to make that shot every time. You're not going to hit that ball out of the park every time, but you will soon be able to. So I wish you the best of luck, and please let me know if you have any questions as you go through our keyboarding unit.